What is the deal, YouTube? What's up, y'all? This your boy Ty here, back with another video. How's everybody doing? If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, what's up? All right, guys. So I got a good video for you guys today that I think is very important, and I just wanted to share my opinion. And I just want to stress that this is my opinion. So I don't want anybody to take away from this video that this is like the way to do it. This is all preference now. So this is my preference. And again, everybody's going to run their rifle differently. Everybody's going to do their own thing. And that's what's nice about being in this community, is that everybody's going to do their own thing. Before I get into that list though, stick around to the end, because the end, I'm going to give you if I had to choose one off of this list, what it would be. So stick around to the end. If you haven't already, go ahead, like and subscribe. I got some more content I'm going to be pushing out to you guys. So if you want to stick around and learn, like I said, I'm learning with this thing. So go ahead, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified when I do a new video. So first things first on my list here, okay? And this is, you could put this in order if you want to. Sure, I guess we could put it in order. This would be my recommendation as far as, what I think is most important, okay? So the first thing I'm going to recommend is it's going to be a light, okay? So if I'm sure a lot of you guys guessed it. Again, this is my opinion. I'm going to recommend a light, okay? So as you can see on my rifle here, I've showed you guys this before in one of my other videos, but what I'm rocking here, and this is clear for the record, nothing in here, okay? So we'll just leave it open like this. Nothing in here. This is a Lancer mag right here, but this is clear, as you can see. Yeah, so I'm going to recommend a light, okay? So depending on your situation and depending on what your application is and what your mission is, get a light, right? So in my situation, my rifle here is set up pretty much for home defense, okay? So I'm not going to be running around in the house in the dark. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm going to want to identify my target. So I think that this is very crucial to have a light, okay? So, you're not going to be, like I said, you're not going to be shooting at something, that you can't identify. Something can happen, it might be your kid or something like that. You want to identify what you're shooting at. And also, every round counts, okay? So every round you have to account for. So I think that having that mentality, having this light, having this device on here, on your rifle, especially, like I said, if it's home defense, it's imperative. And I think it's very, very important. And you can apply this to other applications as well. Especially home defense. And why I say home defense is because a lot of the times a home defense situation, it's going to happen at night. So you need to properly identify, your target with a light. And you can go with, there's a number of brands. This is I'm rocking a stream light here, okay? And there's other brands. I think for the price, this has a good value. I think I haven't had any issues with it yet. And there are a lot of guys that tell you, some of the other brands, if you can afford it, like a Surefire or a Mod Light or an Air Soccer or something like that, by all means, definitely, get what you can afford. So if you can afford one of those other brands, minus the Streamlight, then do it. I think that's very important. Like I said, given this is my opinion. So some people may think otherwise, that they don't need a light, so that's fine. So moving down the list, so my next one, my number two thing, I think that is very important. And again, like I said, this is my opinion. I'm by no means an expert. This is just from the information that I've gathered and the things that I've gathered, and just being in this community, this is what I've learned. Number two, okay, a sling. Okay, I think that anybody, my recommendation is to get a sling. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have a cheap one here, and I'm not gonna lie. If I could do it again, I would spend a little bit more money on a sling, and I still need to get a new sling. So, I think that a sling is very, very important. Okay. And the reason why I say that is very important is because given the circumstance, maybe it's home defense, maybe you have another mission, depending on what you do. You're not going to be sitting here carrying around, lugging around, this rifle the whole time. you might have to do some hand-to-hand combat and you know, and fight somebody or something, whatever the situation may be. You're going to need to sling this over. You know, you're going to need to have this, you know, so you can move, so your hands can be, you know, moving freely. And so that's why I think that having a sling is very, very important. Now, some people will say, you know, you should have like a, you know, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. I mean, I haven't really used a 1 point or a 3 point, but this is a 2 point, and some of them are 1 point and they can be turned into 2 point, whatever. It's all preference. So, I mean, for me, I'm just going to rock a 2 point. Again, that's my preference. So, you know, take it how you want. You can rock what you want to rock. That's the nice thing about this. Some good brands out there that I've heard, you know, Fair Concepts, the Slingster. I mean, there's a bunch out there. Magpul, you know, VTAC. I mean, there's a lot of different brands and stuff that you guys can look at. So, I mean, definitely, you know, but I would say that a sling is definitely very important, given the circumstance. Like I said, you're not going to be carrying around your rifle the whole time. So, being able to quickly adjust and, you know, kind of swim and get out of there and do all that stuff, is going to be very, very beneficial. So, number 2, I said sling. This brings me to number 3. Okay. So number 3, I'm going to say that on my list is going to be an optic. Okay, I think an optic is very, very important. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm running an EOTECH. Okay, this is an EOTECH, right? So this is considered a holographic sight. Okay, and now a lot of guys will fight you on which brand and which, you know, what you should rock on your rifle. Man, this is your rifle. Okay, everybody's situation is not the same. That's fine. That is okay. Okay, so for me, I chose an EOTECH. A lot of people fight me on EOTECH because of the battery life and whatever. Okay, whatever, you know, whatever. Carry some batteries with you. It's not gonna die. Change out your batteries regularly. It's not that serious. Okay. So, and these things, these EOTECHs are pretty durable as well. Okay. And so for me, I chose this because given close quarter combat, quick target acquisition or whatever, but I mean, you can get a red dot. I mean, good red dots, LVPO. I think that you should spend a good amount of money on a quality optic. Okay, don't be skimping. Okay, if you don't have, you know, $600-700, $1,000 to spend on an optic, I think that you should still invest most of your money to your optic. Okay, and I say that because that's going to be very important. I mean, when you're aiming, nobody's an expert marksman. I mean, you might be, but I think that having an optic is very important. Okay, and so you don't have to spend a lot on an optic, but I wouldn't go super cheap either, because I mean, it's essentially you do get what you pay for. Okay, and so I do have this, and this is a Romeo. This is the Romeo 5. This is by Sig, and I mean, this is a quality budget. This is a budget optic. And honestly, I'm probably gonna, you know, I'm probably gonna switch this out depending on how I do my setup for my next build, or for my, you know, for my build. I think I'm probably gonna do some things, and I mean, this thing is still good, and I'll probably still use this. But essentially, something like this, you know, or a Holocene or something like that, will put you in the game. Okay, you don't have to spend $700, especially if you're a beginner and you're just kind of getting into it. You don't need to spend $700-800, but I think it's very important to spend money on a quality optic, because essentially they can fail, and so that's I mean, you don't want your optic to fail. That brings me to my next point. So if you haven't guessed it, yes, backup sights. Okay, a lot of people have different preferences on backup sights as well. So number 4, I'm going to say, yeah, backup sights. Okay, so I'm running these Magpul flip up ones. Okay, these are flip up backup iron sights. All right, a lot of people might fight me on these ones because they're not the pros, and some people have had where these are applied on their rifle and they have broken, given what your application is, what you do. Okay, a lot of people will be like, no, you know, I'm not going to run backup sights, which is fine. But what are you going to do when your optic fails? Okay, then what? So again, this is my opinion. I think that you know, one should have some backup sights on there just in case, in the event you know, your optic fails. and you don't want to be a sitting duck. Okay, and as long as they're co-witnessed, and as long as they're aligned properly with your optic, I think it's very important. As far as like having an optic, I mean, we're talking LVPO, I mean LPVO. I mean, there's just so many different things that you could, depending on your application, there's so many things that you could do. So, I mean, really get what's most necessary for what your situation is as far as the optic goes. But a lot of those good brands out there like like EOTECH, Aimpoint, Trijicon, get you a nice brand that's gonna be able to, run for you when you need it. I am no expert, so I'm not like an expert, so don't take what I say, with a grain of salt, if you will. And this is my opinion, and you can take it and run with it or what, but I'm no expert. I'm still learning, and I'm on this journey with you guys. So okay, so lastly, I'm gonna say, as a bonus, I gave you what I thought was most important. Lastly, I'm gonna say is a pistol grip. Okay, so this guy right here, the pistol grip. Okay, a lot of the Magpul K2 Pluses are very popular for a reason, because a lot of people like the angle. You could do your standard A2 grip, but some people don't like that. I didn't like how mine felt, so I switched mine out. But I know a lot of people have had some issues with just like, like how it's angled, and how they have like issues like with their wrist, and you don't want to be later on down the road and you're having arthritis and whatever, because you were shooting a lot and you could have changed your pistol grip. So I think I would throw that in there as a bonus. It's kind of a tie for me though, it's kind of a tie for me, because I feel like it's between that and changing out the buttstock, and I mean that's important too, I think. But it was, if I had to just narrow it down, it'd be those things. So anything else is just preference. Anything else is just a privilege, for real. So I mean, you're talking like changing out like the trigger or something like that, or changing out, getting like an ambidextrous charging handle, or even an ambidextrous safety. That's all, you can Gucci your rifle out. Everybody's different. If you have the bread to drop and just Gucci out your rifle, by all means, be my guest. But this is, I mean, the list that I gave you, between a light, a sling, and an optic, I think that's very, very important. I think that if you're gonna do it, if you did those 3 upgrades, you'd have a solid setup. Like I said, this is my opinion. So like I said, anything outside of that, it's just a privilege. And I mean, you can run what you run. But I think that if you're just like, for me, if I'm doing, if I'm getting a new AR, I'm gonna change those 3 things. I'm gonna get those 3 things changed first. Anything outside of that, muzzle device, I mean, anything outside of that, that's just preference, and just because you can. So it's not for me, in my eyes, it's not a necessity. It's not necessary. However much you spend on your rifle, I think these are some of the necessary upgrades that I would do after I spent $1,000, $1,500, whatever on a rifle. Anything over that, I don't know if you really necessarily need it to spend $2-3 grand on a rifle. If you want like a Knight's Armament or Day of Defense or whatever, I mean, whatever. If you got bread to drop, then drop it. But for me, $1,000, $1,500 for a rifle. I mean, I know it's COVID now, so some of the lower end ones or budget rifles are kind of at that price point. But if everything was normal, $1,000, $1,500 for a rifle, I think you get a solid one, BCM, whatever. So I think that's something to take in consideration. If I had to choose one thing, I'm talking one thing to upgrade, it would definitely be, if I throw on one attachment, it's going to be, can you guess it? If I had to choose one thing, for me personally, I would choose a light, okay? And I say a light because in a situation, you just don't know. It might not happen during the day, okay? And even if it does happen during the day, say you're, on a mission and just whatever it is, you're inside and it's dark in there. Come on now, you're not going to be walking around somewhere in the dark. I mean, like, how hard is that to just like do something in the dark? Okay, you need some sort of light source. So that's why I choose a light. That's gonna be my most. That's just it. I'm gonna choose a light. If I had to choose one upgrade, it would be a light, and that's just to make sure that I can see, what I'm doing and where I'm going. I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, go ahead and like the video. If you gained some value out of this, I hope you guys did. I put this list together, and I tried to have a reason why I chose it. Again, everybody's going to be different, so this is just my setup and how I would set it up. Everybody's different, so you can do your own thing. But if you liked, kind of what I thought, go ahead and like and subscribe, for some more content too. I would appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. What's your guys' most important upgrades? Like, what do you guys think that you should put on your rifle first? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. Trying to get ammo and trying to get training. That's it. So it's Saturday. It's a lovely day outside. I'm probably not gonna go shoot today. I probably should take advantage of the day, but if you guys like the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And this is your boy Ty. Peace.